The presenting sponsor for OnEducation is Schoology. Every day, millions of students, parents, faculty, and administrators from more than 1,600 school districts leverage Schoology to advance what is possible in education. The team at Schoology is passionate about making its users successful, and they know sometimes you might need a little help to achieve your desired outcomes. To help districts find their way to success, Schoology has created Schoology Compass, a set of self-service resources and tools to support school and district leaders in their journey to success. Compass is made up of 5 district success routes. Each one is designed to advance what is possible at your district. To learn more about Schoology Compass, simply visit Schoology.com.
So, I mean, kudos to the investors for not losing their minds on these folks. Welcome to On Education. I'm Mike Washburn.
And I'm Glen Irvin. Friends, we have an awesome pod for you today. We're going to discuss Class Dojo's new paid feature, whether we should have classroom rules or not, and Mike's big career changes. We're also excited to have Kellie Ady from Schoology as our guest this week.
You were somewhere today. Where were you? I was curious. You were in the...
I was presenting in the cities, at this organization formerly known as TIES. It was an acronym, TIES, and that's actually the name of the conference still. It is the biggest tech conference kind of in our area. So I would say nice. Kind of in the Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Dakotas, Iowa area. They have that conference coming up basically in 3 weeks. The December 8th through 11th, kind of in that area. There's a group of what are called key instructional contacts, basically people from area schools around the cities and the suburbs and other areas too that they drive in to meet together to discuss a variety of innovative things that are going on in our schools, issues that we're having, and kind of problem solve together, Yeah. So I was there. I used to go there at my former school basically once a month, but I hadn't gone in a long time. And this time I went specifically to present about podcasting. So, and really how to get students started with podcasting. Since I presented last week on it, one of the members of the TIES organization saw my presentation or attended my presentation and said, hey, you should come and speak to all of these people. So I did. And we put together some podcasts today, which were awesome. And they are going to bring them back to their school districts. So that's pretty cool. I think that's an awesome way for kids to, an awesome, inexpensive way to be able to get student voice, empower students, really get a global audience really instantaneously. But yeah, to get students to really do this.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were busy today then?
Yes, I was. Took off early in the morning, got there. Then I actually came back to school just for a little bit to finish off my day. And then I ran over here, which is over here is my basement.
Yes. So this, I kept thinking that your Thanksgiving was last weekend, but it's this weekend coming.
Yes. So tomorrow's we have our last day of the week. So we have Thursday and Friday off, as do most schools in the U.S. So Thanksgiving is Thursday for us. And the U.S.
Friday is Black Friday is this Friday.
Black Friday, shopping central day.
Are you going to run over people at Walmart and throw elbows?
I don't go to Walmart, but I may. I don't know if I may go shopping. I'm not too big.
Throw elbows somewhere else?
Nah, I'm not too big into that. I used to be for, if it was a specific video game was being released then, but they don't even do that anymore. So, and now video games are there's digital downloads. So that kind of takes the fun out of that,
There's no
going and getting
no stampede on the Steam website.
Nah, you don't have to worry about not getting the game because you're going to be able to download it anyway. So it's going to be fine. Right. But yeah, no. And that, I guess we should have looked up what is the big hot items on, for Black Friday. That's what I was wondering. I was like, I wonder what this, how every year there's this one item that people are, mauling themselves over.
Tickle me Elmo.
Yeah. That was an amazing little toy there. It was pretty big actually, and it was expensive too.
Funny. So what do your family, like I assume you're going to have a big dinner.
Yes. What do we eat?
What do you eat?
We're going to be with my in-laws who are
Okay.
originally from North Dakota. So it's a
Okay.
very traditional American Thanksgiving. So it's the turkey and the dressing and the gravy with mashed potatoes. And then my favorite actual thing, you want to know my favorite thing? I actually said it today at this Ties thing is, I don't know if they have it in Canada. They probably do. There's this, cranberries, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's this form of cranberries that's kind of a jellied cranberry. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like in a can.
Yes. And it's formed like the shape of the can. And when you plop it out, it looks like Jell-O. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My sons and I love that. And everybody else finds it they're like repulsed by it,
Yeah.
But that's our favorite part of Thanksgiving by far. If I was back with my mom, though, she would have made a Mexican style Thanksgiving, which would have been like tamales and some menudo. I don't know if you know what that is, a Mexican soup, but it would have been definitely a lot different. But yeah, no, it's cool. I really like turkey. So, and of course, I like my jellied cranberry.
That's awesome. I actually make like homemade cranberry sauce. It's fun. I enjoy that. My wife's side of the family has some weird traditions. They have Jell-O. They always have Jell-O.
Is it that Jell-O that has like weird stuff in it?
No,
like marshmallows and stuff, or no?
Just Jell-O.
Oh, okay.
It's really weird. I don't know. Other than that, I'm like outing them here a little bit. It's really weird though, I find. But they also would have a ham, so they have turkey and ham because some people just don't like turkey.
Sure. I don't know about those people if you don't like turkey.
Yeah. Sure. Right. I just eat the drumstick, right? Like just give me the drumstick, put it on my plate, and I'll go to town.
Yeah, that's my favorite part too. Yes.
100%. So yes, happy US Thanksgiving to all of
we're so thankful that you're listening. Yes. And thank you to everybody, and thank you to our sponsors, and hopefully you guys have an amazing Thanksgiving.
Yes, very relaxing. 4 days off. That's nice.
That's nice.
Class Dojo. Everyone knows what Class Dojo is. They actually make a point in this announcement. So they've announced a new paid feature. So this is funny because Class Dojo has never made money.
Okay. Yeah.
They're a darling of ed tech and classroom management, but they just like all the other things that we've ever talked about, they have trouble. They've taken a long time to find a way to actually make money. All of the money they have is from venture capital.
Yes.
So they are announcing a new feature that is geared towards home.
The parents. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's called Beyond School. So it's basically not Classcraft. That's a different product entirely.
Yep.
It is basically Class Dojo.
For your house, right?
For your house.
Okay.
So you are incentivizing and giving points to your kids for their behavior at home, I guess.
And what does it say? It does say what it costs, right? Is it saying $7.99 per month? But it says the rate is not final, so they're not sure if they're going to keep it at that rate.
Yeah, so they haven't set a final rate. But
so, what do you think? Then I'll tell you what I think.
It's a little weird. I mean, I don't think I would ever use it. I don't necessarily. I'm not into like. This is very Pavlovian. Is it not a little?
Bing!
So I'm not into like treating my kids like that, I guess, in the sense that, hey, if you take out the garbage, I'll give you a point.
It reminds me of, don't some parents already have these up on their refrigerator? You know what I mean? They have a checklist of chores, kind of that thing. And then they check mark beside the kid, like they get those specific things done. And then if you got all of those things done,
allowance or something like that,
you get your allowance or you get your digital time or whatever it might be, right?
And I'll admit, I guess maybe we tie Isaac his allowance to like helping out around the house.
Yeah,
I sure as hell didn't get money for helping around the house when I was a kid. So
that was called mandatory.
Right.
There was no questioning the system.
Do the dishes, kid.
Clean the house now.
Right. You know where the vacuum cleaner is? Use it.
Get it done.
Right.
Mow the lawn.
No points for you.
No soup for you or points.
Your points are a roof over your head.
I don't know how many parents are going to use this, man. I actually know of when I was really looking into gamification of all kinds of different things. There's gamification apps that are free that are for running, for dieting, for meditation, and actually for this too, for chores, which can be applied in this kind of same manner. You know, the only part that I would say is maybe a little bit different is like it has its own interface, and then those kinds of I could see that kind of thing, and it has a couple of other things in here, like a little reflection tool and a couple of other things like that. But I don't know. That's a far stretch for me to think that a parent was going to spend $7.99 per month on that.
So if this was $7.99 to buy the app,
yeah, I
may consider buying the app just to see how it is and how it works and how useful it might be.
Yes.
But what really is weird about this is that it's a monthly subscription.
Yeah.
Like, what are you getting month over month that adds value other than just access to the service? Because I think that, the model is really strange. A monthly price for something that, at home is free. I mean, to be honest, if you really wanted to work your way around this, you pretend you're a teacher, you sign up for Class Dojo, and you use it at home for free.
Yeah, you just taught everybody how to rip this off. Yes, but no, I mean, and I just finished saying there's a bunch of free apps that do this thing.
Yeah.
Like it's not Class Dojo, it's not connected to the kind of the school or whatever it might be. And I don't know if this is either. That's what I was wondering. Is there a connection between the school account and the home account? And it didn't seem like it was.
I don't know.
Like they were connected. You know what I mean? Like the same student is on both. So yeah, right. It's strange. And I hope they do well with it, but it seems a far stretch to charge the parents this way.
I'll tell you, Class Dojo is a great product. They need to find a way to make money. If they don't find a way to make money, it won't be a great product for much longer. Mm-hmm. I suspect that they're investors. So it's usually 7 years, like 7 years to get out of an investment. So when you have VC, you get your $1 million and whatever dollars, and they expect you to return that and get out in 7 years. And this has been...
It's been 7 years, right?
It's been 7 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they hadn't even thought of an idea till this one.
Right.
That's not good.
And they're not making any money at all. So, I mean, kudos to the investors for not losing their minds on these folks.
I know.
Because, $31 million is a lot of venture capital to have absolutely no model for revenue.
I know. And the one that they're proposing is on the iffy scale, man. I mean, it's a stretch. I don't know. So we'll see. I mean, like I said, their product is great at school, and I hope they make this work. Maybe they'll have to tweak it. Maybe people will just go nuts for this. Yeah.
We could be totally wrong.
Oh yeah. What do you guys think? Yeah. Get our audience to let us know. What do you guys think about this Class Dojo?
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
If you try it, let us know too. I can't remember.
As a parent, that would be interesting.
Coming out.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to mess around with and play with. So we'll put this in the show notes like we do with articles, and you can read about it. And if you mess around with this, let us know what you think, because we're interested in it for sure. So last week, was it last week? We talked about this article that came out about the reasons why you would not have student choice in your classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is what's crazy about ed tech to me, and just like it was so funny because the article that I noticed today is literally the opposite of that, in the sense that there's an article on Edutopia called "Why I Don't Have Classroom Rules."
Yes.
And it's basically an article that says, I took away all the rules and I thought my class was going to be a gong show, but it's actually not. And it gave my students more autonomy and voice and in their classroom. And, I think it's super interesting that I like this kind of model a lot. I think that students learn better when they're not faced with all of these, barriers to the things they can do and how they can do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. And I was going to say it's a bit of a clickbait article though, because it says
a little, yeah,
why I don't have classroom rules. But really what it's saying is exactly what you just finished talking about that article last week, which was how to empower my students to basically create a culture in my class so that we don't have to have these dumb little rules about everything, like a list of no chewing gum, the kind of all these rules that we saw in the past. I was just thinking about when in my childhood, like things that were just ridiculous, over the top kind of things and it doesn't create a good class culture. It creates the kind of this dictatorship. But this article basically explains how this teacher empowered his students and then let them know kind of what the norms of the class are going to be and then reinforce those norms. Way, way better model of creating a good class culture. But I don't know if he didn't really have class rules though. You know what I mean? Because like when people look at this article, they're going to go to a part where it says he has 4 foundational principles on his walls. But these are great principles that if you want to not call them rules is fine. It's just what like one of them says, be respectful. Like I've actually seen this kind of list when you talk about the best classroom management people. They talk about there shouldn't be all these rules. Now there should be procedures in your class that should be followed, but those aren't rules. These are the things like be respectful, be engaged, be prepared, and I like the last one, be courageous. And he goes into deeper, focus with each one of these. But yeah, no, I totally agree with what they're saying here is that you create a different type of culture when the students are empowered to be part of the decision making of what are those norms, what are our expectations here, and then making sure that you reinforce them as a teacher. So it is a good article. You're right.
I love these principles. Again, other people call them rules. So, you can call them whatever you want, I guess.
Yes.
But there's certainly basically this is a pretty strong model for what I was trying to do. He talks about homework at one point in this article, which I thought was interesting, and about the chance to demonstrate student agency with the way that you talk to kids about why they didn't do their work. And so, for example, in with my grade 8 project, I was able to let the students know, listen, this time in class, it's your time. You do what you want with it. If you don't get the work done, that's on you. This is your time to do it. If you spend, time at home doing it, that's also on you a little bit. But at least they're able to make the decision.
Yes. And
decide what they want to do. And hopefully, one of the things that the best students that I had doing this learned lessons about, just common sense in terms of responsibility for their work, where maybe they procrastinated for the first couple projects or assignments. And then they realized, I could use the time in my class a lot better. Right. And I should do that. And so, what we're actually teaching kids through this type of stuff, this, these principles is a way to, model future learning behaviors and future learning strategies, and basically even just ways to live your life.
Absolutely.
Think about the type of people we want our, I hate to say it that way. I almost said we want our kids to be, but think about like just my son. When I think about the way that I want my son to grow up and the way that I've tried to raise our kids,
yes,
and my wife and I have tried to instill values, I think about being respectful to yourself and to others, and being engaged, not merely present in the classroom, but present in your life, in your home, and with your family. Be prepared, and do the work that you're supposed to do, and be responsible, and be courageous, and learn to take risks. I mean, if I could give my kids any 4 values for them to have growing up, it would probably be these 4.
Yes. I would add one above all of these ones. That should be this is the first one that I always talk to my son about, that basically it doesn't matter how smart you are. That's what I want to make sure I instill in him, that it doesn't matter if you're the most intelligent person in the room. If you're not kind, that the first one should be kind. And I think that even our president should learn that lesson, that's the first thing you do when you approach any situation with a person. If you're not being kind, then there's something wrong there. There's probably there's going to be something bad about what's about to happen then afterwards. And that if you start off with that principle and follow it with respectful, engaged, prepared, and courageous, you have a really, really awesome culture for your class. And then this can carry forward, like you just said, like maybe even to your school and to your district, and have the adults making sure that they follow through with these things too.
It's a great article. It was really interesting. And I like that this teacher, who wrote it here, David, I'm going to hopefully say his name is Toe. David Toe. I think that this approach is awesome. I think, obviously, he's doing a great job preparing kids, for real life things that they should actually have. Like I love being courageous is one of those cool,
very awesome
things, like not being afraid to fail and stuff like that. So, we'll put this in the show notes as well. It's a really neat article, and you should go check it out. When we come back, we're going to talk about some changes, I guess, that are going on with me a little bit.
OnEducation is brought to you by Classcraft. Classcraft is an amazing teaching resource created by teachers. Classcraft is dedicated to making school relevant and engaging to all of our students. Classcraft is proud to announce their Questathon quests, created with shared storylines and custom illustrations to bring any subject to life. Every time a teacher downloads one of the free quests, Classcraft will add $1 to the Teachers Are Professionals Fund, which will be used to fund teacher requests to pledgesense.com. To learn more about Classcraft, simply go to classcraft.com.
All right, welcome back to the podcast, everyone. So, I don't really know what to say here other than that I guess I've hinted a couple times, and we've talked about it a little bit, Glenn,
yes.
that I was getting ready to move on.
Yes.
It's funny because I'm sitting in my office now that I just renovated. I didn't really renovate. I took everything out and then put it all back in.
Sure. Still renovating.
But put some stuff on the walls because I'm going to be working from home, I guess. So Friday was my last day at RHMS, at the school that I taught at for 6 years as the computer science teacher. I gave them my notice in September, so I gave them, I guess almost 2 months, month and a half to kind of figure out how to move on without me. I'm sure that it'll be fine.
Yeah.
The last week has been. I started telling the kids about 3 weeks ago, and I told them about 2 weeks ago that Friday was going to be my last day. Wednesday was my last day with students because we had parent-teacher meetings on Thursday, which I did, and then Friday was just like a PD day.
Okay. Yeah.
And I just kind of went in and said bye and hung out and went out for
your stuff and
a ball and sushi lunch. And it was weird. The kids were nice. Everyone was sweet. Everyone was nice. The parents were really supportive. But it's time to move on and do some other things. I'm excited to be working with a bunch of folks. I've been doing some work with Schoology for the last year or so as a contract trainer. So I'm going to keep doing that.
Okay.
And I'm going to be doing some training on some other stuff, specifically related to, I guess, Minecraft. I'm going to be doing some Minecraft Education Edition training in a few weeks, I guess, for some friends. Well, not some friends, but for a school.
Yeah.
But through a contact. But I guess my big job, my real job, I shouldn't say real job, but my full-time job is going to be working for a company called Logix Academy. They are basically the Canadian equivalent of Wonder Workshop. So they sell all of the Wonder Workshop products, Dash and Dot and
very cool
Q and those products. And then they sell the Make Block products, which are the MBot and those robots, Cody Rocky, which is a newer robot that's coming out. So I'm their head of curriculum and training. So that's, I guess, my new job. And so I'm going to keep writing.
Yeah,
doing lots of writing.
Will that be mostly? Are you going to have to travel around too, Mike, for that position? I mean, I would imagine like at different types of conferences or schools demonstrating things, or not, or does not the way, or training people in.
Yeah, totally. So I'm going to be traveling probably once or twice. Like probably about 3 or 4 days a month are going to be away.
Yeah.
At various, conferences and events, and I'll be at ISTE still, and working with you, but also working with them because they go to ISTE.
Oh, they do. Cool.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny how I hooked up with Logix. Like I've known Logix for a few years. RHMS had done work with them. And brought them in and stuff like that. But where all of this got started was actually me being on the same plane as the CEO of Logix Academy coming back from Chicago.
Oh, crazy. Yes.
Yeah. So all of this started with Rami and I being on the same plane together and running into each other in the aisle and, connecting and then chatting for a little bit. And that's how all of this got started. So I'll be traveling a bit, definitely all across Canada. Anytime Logix needs someone to do product training or robotics training or curriculum development with any school or board or wherever, anywhere in Canada, that's what I'll be doing. So also working on a lot of new projects. We got a lot of really cool ideas for things that we'd like to do that they're not doing yet. And so working on some new projects and kind of prioritizing what projects we should be working on. We got some really wild ideas. There's like a list, a brainstorming list, and it goes from like crazy to less crazy.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like fun though. Yeah, that's awesome. A lot of things to work on then. Yeah.
It's funny. I've been saying it a little bit, but like the list of things to do is easily like 10 years work. Like we've definitely come up with a pretty robust set of ideas and plans around what to do. And there's a lot of work. So it's going to be really exciting. I'm looking forward to it. It's different. It's interesting. It doesn't get me, out of classrooms. I'll still be involved with teachers, but I definitely think that my teaching experience was great, but definitely my wheelhouse has always been working with teachers.
Sure.
Directly. So now I get to kind of do that all the time. And I'm pretty excited about that, I guess.
Yeah, no, that sounds fantastic. Very similar. I mean, even though it's, say, private organization, school, you're still training teachers. So similar to what I'm working with. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and what's nice is that I'll be able to say, listen, I at least, because the two guys that they have about 12, 13 employees, but the two guys that run it, neither of them are teachers. Neither of them are educators. They're engineers, actually. So they've never had like an actual like educator, even though they are, for all intents and purposes, an education company.
Sure.
So they've been missing that piece,
So that was a good asset
for a while. So the school perspective, the teacher perspective, the principal perspective is something they've been missing, and I think that I'll be able to offer that at least, and it'll be helpful. It'll be able to move kind of some conversations in different directions that they haven't really been able to. They haven't been able to speak teacher before.
No, and that's an important language.
100%.
Very important language.
So that's that. I don't want to take a whole lot of time on it. I am excited, actually. I should mention that I am doing some writing, more than the EdSurge stuff. We were interviewed by Dylan Rogers from Innovation and Tech Today magazine. And that interview is actually on their website if you want to go look that up and listen to it. I think they posted the audio as well. But I have 2 articles being published in their January edition.
Heck yeah. That is awesome.
So I just finished, I wrote a little 1-page kind of infographic type article about games, commercial games that you can use for learning, but like games that you can just buy at home and play at home that have educational value. And I wrote an article about robotics. So I'm hoping to do some more writing for them. But it's not a very popular magazine in Canada, but Innovation and Tech Today is definitely a lot more popular in the United States. So hopefully people will pick that up and show me pictures of them with it, because that would be, fun to see. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really pumped. So it apparently comes out on January 1st.
Yeah.
But both of my articles are done. They've been approved. So I'll have 2 articles in a magazine, which is wild.
That's super wild. That's awesome.
I have some other stuff that's going on that Glen would know about, but I'm not going to say it yet. So we'll keep it there for now. But there's lots going on. I'm pretty excited about the future. There's cool stuff happening. Obviously, we're going to work a lot more on the podcast as well. With me being kind of, I'm not going to say I have more time on my hands, but I have different time on my hands. It's a lot more flexible, and so that means that I can do some different things. So we're going to work on some podcast related stuff as well, and get some stuff that I've always wanted to do with the pod, like bumping up the blog and stuff like that as well. So
fantastic.
Lots going on.
Yes.
I think that's it. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about it.
That's awesome, though.
So very exciting. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Schoology's Director of Instructional Strategy, Kellie Ady. Stay tuned.
OnEducation is brought to you by Project Pals. Project-based learning has come a long way since poster boards and paper cutouts. Digital platforms like Project Pals have cut teacher prep time in half to allow more time for research and learning. They can either choose from the dozens of projects available in the catalog or create a tailored project from scratch. Project Pal's multi-purpose platform allows students to work in real time to create project assets, import media, and save their resources all in one place. Student contribution analytics and a progress bar keep teachers up to date. Solidly grounded in years of research, Project Pals is your all-in-one solution for student-centered inquiries and group projects.
All right, welcome back to the podcast, everyone. We are really thrilled to be joined by Schoology's Director of Instructional Strategy, Kellie Ady. That's a hell of a title, Kellie. Welcome
thank
to the
you,
podcast.
I think. So, Kellie, I've been working through the first professional development Schoology Compass course. Talking with my my superiors, my head of tech at our school and our administration. Tell our audience about what Compass is and what can they expect.
Well, Compass is it's designed to be almost like a success program for districts where they may have a specific focus that they want to really leverage something like Schoology for. And Compass is designed to basically target different district needs and goals into these kind of bucketed courses where customers could then, or clients or districts could figure out where were they with that particular initiative or goal, and then how could they maybe leverage Schoology in a way they hadn't thought about to take it to the next level. So it's, and that was a long answer, but it basically is a way to help districts think strategically about how they could leverage something like an LMS to reach some of their kind of larger district goals.
We like long answers here, Kelly. Why use 5 words when you can use 10?
I'm the ideal guest then, because I will always use more words.
So obviously Compass is something that developed out of feedback and what Schoology was seeing from their clients in terms of what they felt they needed. What were clients telling you specifically that maybe brought you to developing this new Compass?
I think, some of it was what we heard districts asking for, and some of it was things that we just kind of noticed as we worked with districts, especially those who've been with us for a while. And kind of get back to Glen's earlier question about, what you could expect. One of the things that we've noticed over time is that very few districts have a really thoughtful approach to change management. Like, I think they realize it's really important, but over and over, we would hear districts talk about the challenges they had with getting people to adopt, or like rolling something out and having it work successfully, and how do we stage this well? And so one of the things we wanted to make sure we did was really think about change model first, and then put the other, kind of aspects in kind of layered on top of that. So to your question about, what were we hearing that made us really want to develop Compass? I think we heard a lot of districts who would start with Schoology for a specific reason. So let's say they wanted to do something specifically because they got a bunch of devices. So like, okay, great, we need an LMS and we have these devices. And then it was like, there was this moment of like, but now what? Like, what else should we really be doing with something like Schoology? And, as an LMS being system, I think people were asking us for like, what can we do system wide with Schoology versus like, I just am focusing on classroom teachers. And that's a super important focus. But I think we were losing some district leaders along the way sometimes.
Yes. So Kelly, in the Compass Success routes, the first course that's available now is focused on professional development. Was there a specific reason that this route was chosen? Maybe it has to do with what your answer just was.
I think professional learning or professional development or whatever term we want to call it, I think it really is at the base of everything. You almost can't be successful with anything that you want to do with teaching and learning, technology or not, if you don't have really solid professional learning. So when we thought about the success routes that we identified, so, you mentioned the first one that we released was ongoing professional learning. The other 4, which were student-centered learning, assessment and feedback, curriculum framework, and then engaged parents and communities, all of those, if you really want to do them well, is going to require some level of professional learning. So we felt like that was a really good base level starting point. And I think the other thing is that, when you have something like Schoology, we are so surprised how many people don't leverage the LMS for their adult learning. They're really great about thinking about how, Schoology can support students. And we've had so many people say to us like, oh, wait, you can use Schoology for PD? And we thought, yeah, wow, like you should have your adults, your teachers learning in that same space so that they can kind of realize like how powerful it can be. So we started with OPL.
Well, it's funny because I've noticed, like I've been to a couple Schoology Next conferences, and one of the things I noticed last year in particular was how many PD focused sessions there were. There was a lot of people talking about how to use Schoology for professional development, and it was really neat to see Glen and I talk about professional development all the time, and so it was cool to see how many PD sessions there were.
And I think
PD focus sessions.
Yeah, when you look at even like surveys that happen in the ed tech space about challenges that districts face or administrators and their biggest, hurdle, it seems like professional learning is always, if not at the top of that list, nearly at the top.
Yeah.
And even our own, we do that the global state of digital learning survey. We just finished our second year. I think that's going to be coming out in the next month or two, actually, of all the results. But similar thing where, once again, the top concern of administrators was offering engaging and effective professional learning for folks in their buildings.
Awesome. How's the feedback been? I'm interested in what you've heard so far. How has Schoology Compass been received, and what are you hearing from your clients and from districts?
Yeah, it's been pretty cool, actually. I mean, we first had a lot of excitement just around those 5 district success routes that I mentioned, I think that a lot of people's district strategic plans focus on, if not all 5 of those, like most of them. And so there was some excitement just in like having some support, I think, around that. So even before we launched it, we heard a lot of like excitement around, I can't wait to see what this looks like. And then when we released OPL, I think first we did it this is a trade secret. No, I'm just kidding. We had like a beta version that we invited a couple of people to just get it in test first to make sure that things, looked right. And we got really good feedback from those folks that we then implemented right away. But then in terms of like what we're hearing from people that are now in it for the reals, kind of like Glen is, we've heard some really kind of interesting things in their reflection. So there's every module, all the district success routes are in the same structure. So there's, it's folder-based structure. Each module has a reflection. And some of the things we've heard is like somebody said, like, I realized that I've been doing this on my own. I haven't been getting any leadership or stakeholder buy-in, and I really have to do that. Somebody said that my biggest aha moment was realizing that our PD doesn't have a purpose or a goal. So teachers are uninterested because they don't know why they're even there. And so if we can, with something like Compass, get people to really reflect and think about ways they can do things better, not just in Schoology, but just kind of in general, I think that's a win.
Yeah, for sure. So as you know, I used to work at a actually Friday was my last day. I used to work at a private school that is a Schoology enterprise client. I think probably actually one of the only enterprise clients that you guys have in Canada. And I felt like when I looked at this that it was really built well for district models and stuff like that. But I'm curious about how modifiable Compass is for clients outside of districts. Would a private school, just a singular school like RHMS, be able to use Compass as well?
Yeah, I don't know why not. Like, I guess when I think about it, a private school like that is really, it's just a smaller scale than a larger district. So I don't know that challenges with professional learning or, with focusing on student-centered learning would be any different. Yeah. It might be easier to pivot and change when you're in that small of an environment. And I think the other thing that would be different is that, if you were the person that did PD and also was in charge of the device rollout and who also was the parent liaison, which we see in a lot of smaller organizations.
Yeah, for sure.
You'd probably have a lot on your plate, but I don't know that it would be that different. My hope is that it's really designed to impact an organization, whether that's a really small one like a private school or a really large one like in LA.
Nice. So Schoology Compass is out now. First module is available, focused on structuring professional development. And if you want to learn more, you can check out Schoology.com/compass. Thanks, Kellie Ady, for joining us on the podcast today. That was great.
Thank you, Kellie.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's always great to connect with you guys.
Thanks for listening to OnEducation. My name is Mike Washburn, and my co-host is Glen Irvin. Do you want to get in touch with us? Check out our website at oneducationpodcast.com. You can tweet us at OnEducationPod. Glen is at IrvSpanish on Twitter. I can be found on Twitter at Mr. Washburn. Our engineers are Jake and Justin at Podcast Production Team. Check out their website at podcastproductionteam.com. You can find us on Facebook by visiting facebook.com/oneducationpod. If you're enjoying the show and think others would too, we'd be thrilled if you shared it with them. Please leave us a rating or review in Apple Podcasts or the Google Play Store. When you leave a rating, it gives our rankings a boost, and this helps others discover the show. We want to thank our presenting sponsor, Schoology, for supporting us. Check out Schoology.com to learn how they can help you advance what's possible. Thanks as always for listening. Stay awesome. See you soon.